Okay, welcome back. My name is Paul. I've done a lot of videos on various aspects of culture, 2012, ancient mysteries, and I thought I'd make a little piece about what I believe is going to be the collapse of the United States within the next 30 years. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I'll try to outline them. In the first place, what we have now in our country is a huge budget deficit, as everybody knows, and the consequences of it is that as we age, our generation, going on to retirement and taking Social Security, the portion of the federal budget that's going to go into interest and other so-called liabilities or entitlements keeps escalating in a tremendous way. I mean, the math is like outrageous. But to narrow it down here, if the budgets of the United States keep going like this, and there's no reason to think that it's going to end anytime soon, we're going to see a massive collapse, very slow, of the infrastructure, the road system, bridges, all kinds of important structures that are slowly aging. And if they're aging too fast for states and local governments and federal to keep up with the repairs, then we're going to see more and more. There was one article I saw recently on TV about the state of Michigan was saying that there are even some areas they're letting roads go back to gravel. They just let the asphalt and just kind of wear down until it's a gravel road again. So we're seeing like a major collapse on that area. Now, if we don't have good road systems, our transportation system is going to suffer, and trucks that use the roads to deliver most of the goods in the United States are going to find more and more increasingly difficult delays and so on. So that's going to be a problem. Now, in addition, we have a younger generation that has grown up. Many of them, there's a large proportion, they're not getting a very good education, and our culture is preoccupied with entertainment and sports and all kinds of gadgets and things that we have. We're not paying attention to the infrastructure. And if the infrastructure of a civilization collapses, look what happened to Rome. So the infrastructure collapse, I believe, is just ongoing and make more and more problems, more cars, more pollution. And another reason is the oil. The oil price is going to get higher and higher slowly, and we'll end up changing our transportation network. So our economy is going to shift in a major, major way in the next 30 years, in my belief, and a lot of it is related to debt and infrastructure. But in addition, we have a lot of other major problems. The United States is dependent right now on a lot of products from China, and the transportation over the oceans is also getting more difficult in some ways because the ports get clogged, and weather scenarios, things like the weather, the Icelandic volcano that blocked airflow or air travel, that could continue. But I believe that basically the United States economy is going to go slowly into smaller and smaller pieces because there are parts of the country that are totally, they're just in a different culture. And even though the formal boundaries, yes, there's still a quote state and all that, but there's a lot of people individually in the states that really don't care much about the politics. They're just going to go about their lives, and they don't study the laws, really. They just go and do things, and there's a cash economy that's developing and has been always present, but I think that cash economy is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, which means buying more and more used items, staying away from the big stores as people's income levels get stressed out, and that would mean a loss of sales tax by states. So I believe that government resources, government services will slowly decline in the years to come, and a lot of money that people have now is tied up in paper, and people own stocks, and we saw what happened to the housing. People owned a house, they thought it was worth X dollars, and then they found out very quickly that the housing market can collapse. Well, the market for other kinds of things can also decline tremendously, and if people are buying used things and keeping things longer and not shopping at the traditional outlets instead of using eBays and so on, the sales tax revenue for the states is going to go down. There's just a lot of real problems that people aren't paying attention to. A lot of people are just busy going about their life, doing their thing, and going to sports events, and Las Vegas is profiting, and even they're going down. People don't have the income to just spare on gambling. And I believe also the health condition. If you look at the younger generation, there's a lot of people growing up now, and they really aren't very educated, and they're overweight, and they're not really interested in participating in government. There's a free, kind of independent attitude, especially among the young people, that I think bodes very badly for politics in the future, because the people that will run for office are increasingly just derelict. I mean, they're just not paying attention to their duties. They get in there for money, and they're living off the taxpayer, and they're not doing a good job for our country. So I believe the politics is going to splinter in this country in a major way. So we have the tax revenue going down, the infrastructure collapsing, the growth of a cash economy, the decrease in sales tax, and then there's all kinds of natural events. So we see what's happening now with the Gulf, and that we found out today that thing's going to keep pumping out oil until August, and it's just like you can just see it. I mean, the whole economy in the South is depending on fishing and tourism and all that stuff. I mean, it's just, just not going to come back. I mean, so I think that we're really looking toward a slow collapse of the American economy in terms of the centralization, and people are just having to go more and more regional, and the politics involved is a lot of separation, division, people's opinions on different issues. So I believe the economy in the United States will slowly decline and collapse, because the federal government will eventually get to the point where the payments on the interest rate, the interest for the national debt, and other kinds of liabilities and things that the government has are just going to get outrageous. Now, when things collapse, I mean, people go back to a cash economy and barter and trade to some degree, and I think we see that already happening. Now, I'm going to have to make some other segments regarding the collapse of the United States within 30 years, and I believe that we're going to get dominated more and more by China in terms of products and manufacturing. So I have a limit on these sections for 10 minutes on the YouTube venue, so I'm going to have to close and go into another segment to describe some more of the evidence I see for a coming collapse of the United States within 30 years.